Hello YouTube fans, Monarchs here, and welcome to a deck profile with Ritual Beasts. Ritual Beasts have more or less dropped off the radar at the moment due to the fact that non-extra deck Monarchs are in the game, and that really screws over Ritual Beasts since they have ways of searching out a defense against their common usage card, which is a combination of the Ritual Beasts, or Ritual Beast Steeds, as I should actually call it. And the fact that they lock them out of the extra deck means they can't really do many of their combos, and they eventually lose enough steam for them to lose against. But if the future does hold no extra deck Monarchs being hit, which it should do, then Ritual Beast could come back to being a rogue meta deck, and I'm really hoping for that. Plus, there is a possibility for future support in sets after Invasion of Venom, as has been hints that Cleefort and Yang Xing are getting support at that point. I can't actually find the article I read on this. It was a leak post, but essentially, if that does come to pass, so you can't actually don't quote me as a reliable source here, but if it does come to pass, then Ritual Beast may get the consistency that they need to rejoin the meta and do a lot of things. But this deck is still a decent tier 2 deck. It still has the power. It can still be Helmet-like. It can main those Macrocosmoses. There's Dimensional Fissures when they go to free. I really want those at free. Well, at least Macrocosmos at free. That'll be awesome. But essentially, this deck is still Helmet and still has a lot of power. There'll be a few replays at the end of this video just to show a few things. I don't know if this is going to be the stream deck or not, because this is recorded beforehand, but there is a possibility for it to be in the stream deck yesterday. So if that is, you don't really need the replays, but if not, the replays are there anyway. And there is a possibility to mix this with card Demise form to make a Demise stun version of Ritual Beasts. I just haven't had the time to test that out, but there is a possibility to do that. There is the pieces are there. It just needs the right mixing of consistency. So without further ado, let's go into the deck profile. We have 2 Spiritual Beast Apelio. Apelio has a quick effect, banishment of Ritual Beasts from your graveyard to increase the attack and defense of all Ritual Beasts on the board and for the rest of the turn by 500, which is nice. It can keep your resources in the banishment zone, so when you're putting back things for Ulti you can at least not lose enough support for you to have to use your real Ritual Beasts as the ones going to the graveyard, which is decent. Plus it's a 500 boost. It could be good, could be what you need to go for your OTK, although this deck doesn't really OTK, this is more control based. Then we have triple Spiritual Beast Rampengu, the second best Ritual Beast in the game for the main deck. It has the ability to banish a Ritual Beast monster from your extra deck to send a Ritual Beast monster from the same type from the deck to the graveyard, which is nice. However, due to the hits on Ulti Conhawk, it cannot send Conhawk from the deck to the graveyard, which is really annoying, but it can still send any tamer by sending Ulti Apelio to the graveyard. It can send Apelio to the graveyard by sending this Ulti Apelio, and it can send Petelfin to the graveyard by sending this Ulti Petelfin, which is decent and still key in the deck to keep getting these resources out. Nice Foolish Burial in a monster is pretty good. Then we have triple Spiritual Beast Conhawk, the best main deck Ritual Beast, as this is not only the best card for getting all your resources out of the deck, it's also a searcher if your Ulti Conhawk has been Solemn Striked. So that's pretty decent. He is slower than Ulti Conhawk, obviously, but he can at least give you some control while getting your resources out of the deck. It can banish any Ritual Beast card from the deck, and during your second standby phase, if it's still there, you can add that card back to your hand, which is very good for getting steeds and ambushes when you have no access to Ulti Conhawk. Then we run 1 Spiritual Beast Petelfin because it's another name, and yeah, I have used the effects from time to time, but it's generally not used. That is, you can banish a Ritual Beast card from your hand, target a monster, well, a card your opponent controls, and return it to the hand. That's technically a Monarch domain out, I should say, but that generally doesn't come up. Then we got the Tamers. One, Wen, another name obviously, but she can reborn one of your banished Ritual Beast monsters when she is normal summoned, which is decent for getting your big beast sticks on the board, or your Ulti-Conahawk on the board. Then you have one Zephyropelica, same reason, but this monster reborns from the graveyard instead. One Lara and Zephyropelica more or less do the exact same, but the fact that their name is different is key because you can only special summon a Ritual Beast monster of that name once per turn. All of them have this restriction, which is annoying. I believe this one, yes, this one does too. So yeah, you've got a 4 Beast 4 Tamer ratio. Technically, you can also run Zephyr Wendy, but she doesn't give you anything for the actual Ritual Beast deck, so she's not really needed. Whereas these guys are a lot better. And the best Tamer is the Ritual Beast Tamer Elder, which gives you an additional non-summon whilst face up on the field. Well, whilst normal summoned, which is decent. Decent indeed. So the main combo you do is Elder and Conahawk, where you can get Steeds, ambush out, and have a way of tagging out during your opponent's turn if something goes wrong, which is decent enough, because I'll go over that combo at the end, near the end of this video. Then we got Regeki, which is Regeki obviously. Triple Horde Loyalty to try and increase the consistency. I did originally have Upstart Goblin in here, but I wanted to give it a little bit more danger to it while still keeping consistency, so I took out the Upstart. But you can put it back in, just take out like one of the Magic Deflectors, and it should do fine. Pod Loyalty, although stopping my special summoning, I do generally only open up with like one of my Ritual Beasts, preferably Conahawk, so Pod Loyalty doesn't hurt too much. Then 2 MST, it has your domain outs. 1 E-Telly. E-Telly really isn't needed in Ritual Beasts anymore. Even though it's been hit on the ban list, it really wasn't doing much of anything. When we first played Ritual Beasts, E-Telly was liked, but it wasn't ever needed, to be fair. There's a lot of topping Ritual Beast decks at that time not using E-Telly, so E-Telly really isn't needed. E-Telly, for me, is sometimes an out to a bad situation, only having Ritual Beasts and getting a Tamer straight from the deck, but it just generally doesn't come up, and I don't generally see it because it's a one-off for me, to be fair. And then One-Dimensional Fissure, great against the meta. It's unfortunate it's not a second Macrocosmos, because Macrocosmos is brilliant. Then we've got the traps, the helmet part of the deck. We have triple Steeds, non-targeting destruction for the amount of Ritual Beasts you control, which is great. Torrential Tribute, because you can combo this with a Ritual Beast fusion monster, in which you summon the Ritual Beast fusion monster, use the ability to tag out, but since you're still in the similar chain link, Torrential Tribute can be chain link free, well, chain link 2 essentially, and blow away the board, and then your monsters will drop on the board, which I don't know why is really ruled like that, but it's a nice combo to have in this deck. Then we have triple Ritual Beast Ambush, which is basically a mini sword charge for the deck, but it doesn't restrict your battle phase. It only stops you summoning anything other than Ritual Beast on that turn. You activate this card, which you generally don't do, to be fair. You usually use this in your opponent's end phase as it is special summoning your monsters. It can be doing it from both banished zones and the graveyard, which is pretty nice. Then 2 Magic Deflector to out Twin Twisters when you have your Gozen or your Macro on the board. Plus it's great against the meta at the moment. The only thing it doesn't really hurt is PK Fire and Water. Then 1 Jar of Avarice to put back the Ulti-Conahawk from the graveyard into the deck, because it's going to happen that you're going to get Storm Strikes on that monster and you need a way of getting that back. Then Macrocosmos, one of the best cards in the deck, because Macrocosmos is great against the meta at the moment and really hurts Water because they send its cost, particularly Neptibus. Then we got 2 Gozen match. Unfortunately, we can't use rival with the Warlords in this, which is a bit of a shame, but Gozen match can work quite well indeed. Very good against something like PK5 because they can't summon their Dantes, although they can summon their Breaksword, depending on what they have on the board at that moment. It's great against Pendulum decks in general because they generally have different attributes, except for Magic Spectre and Ignite go for other attributes as well, I believe, and same for Dynamist. So it's a decent card. It's also good for against Monarch, but it doesn't kill one, unfortunately. Then we have 3 Solemn Strikes because it's Solemn Strike, and 1 Warning because it's Solemn. So the combo with Conahawk and Elder, before I go into my extra deck, is that you summon Elder, you then summon up Conahawk, you use Conahawk's ability to send Rampengu to the battlefield zone or Apelio, either is good. Then you fusion summon out Ulti Petelfin or any other monster that you want to fusion summon out, and then you tag back out without using their effect. If it is Ulti Conahawk you went for, just to get Conahawk and Elder back on the board, then use Conahawk's effect again to banish a Tamer, then you fusion summon out for Ulti Conahawk. Ulti Conahawk targets either your Elder or your Conahawk and one of the other monsters. Most likely you target either Rampengu or one of your other Tamers, which may be Zephyropilica, and then you only hit one of the graveyard because you tag out as a chain and summon back your ritual beast that you send through Conahawk and your Tamer you send through Conahawk, and then you get Search, and then you fusion back into Ulti Conahawk and send the other, well, depending if you've got Rampengu. If you hit the Rampengu, you can banish. You've banished the fusion monster as well, so you can hit that one into the graveyard and something else. So you still have 2 Tamer and a ritual beast monster in your management zone, but you have 2 searches. I know that's not the best explanation for that, but there will be a few other explanations online which you'll be able to check out. But essentially that's how you do it. You do need some practice with this deck if you're going to play it and not very familiar with it, just to remember all the combos and remember your resource at the time you need it, because this is a very higher level deck for skill, essentially, compared to some of the decks that we have at the moment. Let me just remind you that Demise Stun is a thing. And onto the extra deck. We have 1 Sky Cavalry Centura, because there are times when you have like Elder and an Elder, or an access to an Elder. And Centura can be good. It's also a non-targeting bounce back. Could be good against Cosmo. Then Breaksword, because it's a generic rank 3, and you can make that with Wen and Zephyropilica. Then there is the rank 4, Dagostal Emerald to shuffle back Ulti Conahawk in case it is being killed. Then 1 Lightning Chidori. Technically this is better than Castell in the deck, to be fair, but you can put Castell instead of Breaksword if you really want to. Lightning Chidori, when Exceed Summon, can target a set card your opponent controls and returns that target to the bottom of the deck. And you can detach your materials, target a face card your opponent controls and return it to the top of the deck, which can slow down your opponent quite a lot. And then 1 Giant Hand, just because I really wanted to use this in a deck and I haven't used it yet. I did actually bring out one of the replays, that will be at the end of this video, but it doesn't do much. To be fair, I don't like number 1 or 6 Giant Hand, but it's there just for when you want to do it. Then we got the Fusion deck. We have 2 Ritual Beast Ulti Petelfin. 2 is needed because you need 1 to banish with Rampengu and you need 1 for a decent defense. It cannot be destroyed by card effects. That's basically the only effect it has, except from its tag out effect, which is generic for Petelfin, Conahawk and Apelio. Then we have Ulti Conahawk, the main card of the deck, and hit at 1 in the ban list. Why? This card is amazing. It has the ability to target 2 banished Ritual Beast cards and return to the graveyard, but it can chain its ability to tag out, and only one of them hits the graveyard, and you still get your 2 monsters, and you still get your search for any Ritual Beast card from your deck to your hand, which is very nice indeed. And none of the fusion monsters are restricted on their amounts of special summonings, so you can keep doing this combo and search out quite a lot. Next level of Next level Infinity by this ratio. my show, by this mechanic essentially. Then we have triple Ritual Beast Ulti Apelio, because you can make two Ulti Apelios side by side, and you need one for Rampengu. It is unaffected by card effects when it is attacking, including your own, so the Ulti Apelio boost will be not affected when it's attacking, so always remember that. And then triple Ritual Beast Ulti Guy Apelio, originally at 2, but you can use Rampengu to get rid of 2 of these. You generally don't go into this, but when you do, it's like a win harder kind of thing. Or you can lock your opponent out if you've got enough resources in your hand. And onto the possibilities for other cards to use in this deck. We have Ghost Ogre. I used to use this in the deck, but I took it out for Magic Deflector. But you can switch them around essentially and put that back the Upside Goblin to take out the Deflector and put this on the side, to be fair. But yeah, she's a nice card and gives you access to Black Rose. That's why there's 40 cards. I just realised I didn't put the Black Rose back in here. But yeah, there's supposed to be a Black Rose Dragon here. Then there's card Demise. You can make this a Demise stun bit, but you'd have to cut down the monster lineup, probably take down some of the Elders, probably take down one of the Rampengus, and do it like that, but it takes a lot of jiggering around to get the consistency for that. You can use different dimension ground in this deck, as that's good against the meta at the moment. Doesn't really hurt you that much, but it's still a trap card, it's a bit slow. We need more Macrocosmos-like cards. Then there's Soul Drain, which is basically not going to hurt you, and it's just going to flip up and stop your opponent using the extra deck in the main graveyard and the banishment zone, which is pretty nice indeed. Pretty nice indeed. You can also, just remember the card, you can use Retaliating Sea against those Cosmo players using Emergency Teleport, but it's not really advised because Cosmo generally don't need to use Emergency Teleport anymore. And then there's Chaos Trap Ball because it's great against Mare as well. And yeah, that's the deck. Really hasn't been updated since its release, to be fair, but it's a great deck and it's quite fun to play. So let's go on to the few replays. The first replay is against Ghost Tricks, and these replays are on ranked, I should say, but I don't think it's a higher level of rank, to be fair. So yeah, I start with Conahawk and set my face down and then flip over my Macrocosmos. Always do good when you have Macrocosmos, unless they have Twin Twister. So I start going Ulti Conahawk and then he Solemn Strikes, which is not nice. Not nice at all. My Conahawk is in the banishment zone. I can't even get it back with Jar Avarice at this point. Until I do because Ulti Conahawk's the one that returns to the graveyard, which is really annoying, but yeah. I do my Elder, I get my Rampengu, I've more or less got revealed that it's Ghost Tricks now, so I go for my combo. For Fusion Summoning, getting my Ulti Conahawk reused twice, and Ulti Conahawk beats over Jiangxi, and then special summons my 2 monsters, Rampengu again, usage, and then Pet Elephant for a defense of 2/8. My opponent sets a Needle Ceiling and has a Maxi on the board. I go for my Tag Out so they are nice and refreshed. Use my Conahawk to banish my Ritual Beast Ambush. I'm trying to get my resources, which I'm adding slowly with Steeds already. Doing it again, basically getting a lot of control. Ulti Guy Apelio beating down his monster, and he draws a go-around. Setting the Jiangxi now, I Tag Out during the end phase to get my Conahawk and layer on the board. Top deck a Duality, my overcards are coming slowly, and I'm getting even more thanks to the Ulti Conahawk. I'm tagging out, using this as much as possible so that I can basically have enough resources. He tries to use a go-around, I flip over my Steeds to destroy his target, and I hit down for 2600, setting the Steeds. My opponent top decks a Quaking Mirror Force and gives up, essentially, because I'm not putting enough monsters on the board for a Needle Ceiling to be live. My Apelios are unaffected by Burying Mirror Force. Ghost Trick vanishes dead in the hand. MXC is dead in the hand because Macrocosmos, and his top deck is going to be another Vanish, which basically was GG because I would go for a game here, just summoning out my Wen and summoning out Ritual Beast, and then go for another Ulti Apelio attacking the game because they are unaffected by counter effects, and this deck definitely uses Quaking Mirror Force. Okay, on to game 2. Well, deck 2, I should say. I mean, replay 2. Replay 2 is against, I believe it was, this was Zombie Draco Pals, using a similar deck to, I believe, It was Jared Stone. He used this against me at regional last month, and he used Brilliant Fusion and this kind of support. I don't believe he used this though. So yeah, it's a really fun deck, to be fair, but there's a lot of techie things in here, like Pendulum Rising. I absolutely hate Pendulum Rising, and this replay shows why I hate Pendulum Rising. So I get to start, I go for my Rampengu, do my usual setup, get a Tamer in the graveyard, set my Solemn and my Ambush. He goes Brilliant Fusion, I feel that it's going to be dangerous, so I Solemn Warning this. He goes Monkey Board, and I use my Yuki and destroy the Monkey Board, completely bricking him and completely killing him. He now has a dead Pendulum Rising and a Solemn Warning, that's about it. I go for my Ambush, and my two monsters use Ulti Belio, and then he Solemn Walls my Ulti Conarch, which is another Solemn for that poor little monster. And I set my Steeds. He top decks another Pendulum Rising and had to set his Sorcerer, which is not going to do much at this point, since he doesn't have a scale due to Ghost Ogre, which is great. I set my another Steeds, and he top decks a Twin Twister, which is really not going to do anything. I top deck a Wen, I get monsters in the graveyard so I can do my Jar of Avarice and put my Ulti Conarch back into the deck, and top deck a Wen. At this point he knows this game because there is nothing he can do with two Pendulum Risings and a Twin Twister. His top deck is going to be Master Pendulum, and that's complete brick. The Brilliant Fusion engine in that version would be to summon that Seraphonite, use Lazuli to add Master Pendulum back to your hand, and that's decent enough. You get additional normal summon, and if we had two Jokers in the game, we could gain both of their effects, but we only have one. It's mainly to give you another summon for your unit zombie and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a nice way of killing this deck, mainly with the Ghost Ogre though, and that was a one-off, so that was mainly luck, but I liked it indeed. Yeah, onto the final duel. And the final duel is against water. So we have a great setup. We get the Elder and Conarch combo up here. We go for the Pet Elfin to get the Ulti Conarch and Elder. Ulti Conarch and the Zephyr Pelica, summon the Ulti Conarch and start doing the tag out resource management, which is great because then we only hit one card and we get one card, so it's very nice. Hit the Pet Elfin from the deck and put 2 in the graveyard and set 4, which is great. I have to tag out at this point because Kaijus are in the game and they don't give me a response, so I don't want to lose my Ulti Conarch. He flips over a Geki, so it's more safe, but what decks can play Gamciel? He hits my Ambush, so I summon out Elder and Pet Elfin. But since I don't really have much on board, I need to use my Steeds at this point. I should technically use Ritual Tribute a bit ago, but I didn't really need to at this point. I summon my Rampengu, and that hits another card out of the deck. I go my Jar for Avarice because I wanted that Pelio, and I top deck in a Pelio, which is really annoying, but I've already used my normal summon, so I can't do anything. That's it. Go for my Ulti Conarch management, going to put monsters on the board and put monsters in the graveyard and search cards. And then go for Ulti Pelio to hit down for 2600, which is decent. I set my Steeds and then pass the turn. He uses his Abyss Spike to send his Abyss Gunday to the graveyard and then starts to make a slight wall, but not much. He's missing his missing his Neptabyss. So I continue to do my combos. This is a really long process for me, to be fair, because there's so many combos, there's so many chances to bring out Ulti Conarch to resource management. But it's good. I really do like this deck. And just getting everything out here, just to keep on banishing everything and having the resource. I go for Giant Hand because why not? I didn't have a Dweller in the extra deck and I really should. Maybe switch this for Dweller, but this was decent anyway. He goes for Norden and I use my Giant Hand to negate Norden. And that's completely screws it. It's destroyed during the end phase, and I tag out, so my monsters are not going to be special summoned. And then I flip over my Ambush to get all monsters on my board, essentially, return from a different dimension, and then I Steed to see if it was an Abyss Linde, and it wasn't, so I can attack the game, which is GG. Unfortunately, he didn't draw his Neptabyss, and he was going to dead draw a Twin Twister, which would have been good with Abyss Gundays. It could have made a nice 2-4 defense, but apparently couldn't run that over anyway. In the back row I had Torrential Tribute and Steeds, and I was going to top deck against Steed, which was completely bad in this matchup unless it's game 2 or 3. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe if you enjoyed this and want to see further content. Please leave a comment below, go search for my deck, search for my channel in general. There's polls at the top of this video for you to do, because I always like to know your feedback. And any suggestions, please leave below in the comment section. If you want to see when I'm streaming, there'll be information on my Facebook page, which has a link in the description below. Thank you for watching. Matt Rant, signing out.